hunted, Exile! You are captured, you beast!
There is no true safety from you, is there? I'm better. Feeding time.
Fun. For you.
Hey guys, just wanted to make a quick video right before League start basing on my previous League start character. This was my League start for Metamorph and it got me through most of the content in the game before I had to make another character. It is a Elementalist that uses Incinerate. It is also somewhat a Golementalist because we are running golems. And I also tinkered about with cast spell channeling with Volatile Dead. In the end, the character turned out to be a very strong League start for my League. I think it could do almost all of the content in the game, bar some of the very high-end endgame encounters like Cyrus, and it did incredibly well with the budget it had and got me into mapping very quickly. Now about the build, this is just a Elementalist that utilizes Incinerate with golems, so with the passive tree. We scale a lot of channeling as well as fire damage on our tree, as well as stacking up a lot of life. We do want to run combs ideally as like our final piece of gear in the chest piece, so stacking maximum life is good for the build. Although combs is not necessary, especially if it's a League start, you can just run a chest with like 100 life on it and that will do just as well. So as for the tree, we start in the Witch Zone and we go and grab Heart of Flame for more fire damage, and we grab Golem Commander, as well as grabbing Elemental Overload here for more elemental damage. And we also path down to the left here near the Templar starting zone. We get Singular Focus to make our channeling skills do a little bit more damage, as well as Explosive Impact, more fire damage, more area of effect, and grabbing Amplify, Holy Dominion, Light of Divinity, all the good stuff for spells and scaling damage. We also do path down here to grab the Silent Life Wheel. We benefit a lot from life because we are running a lot of rare gear with a lot of life, so our build would be quite tanky, so scaling life is a good option on this build. We also do path around towards the right. We grab Phase Acrobatics and Regular Acrobatics to give us a bit of dodge because we don't have a lot of physical mitigation, so having dodge is always welcome to any build. For Ascendancy, I grabbed Pendulum of Destruction, followed by Legion of Primordial, Elementor, then finally grabbing Mastermind of Discord. Normally these builds would run a Paragon of Calamity because it allows you to leech elemental damage as life. If you don't have this on a piece of jewelry like I do here, then you may want to consider dropping Elementor or dropping Mastermind of Discord and running Paragon of Calamity instead. But I think it's a lot more worth it just to get some on your gear, and that way you can drop the Ascendancy node and grab either Elementor or Mastermind of Discord. As for gearing options go, this is a League starter. It's meant to be generally quite cheap to start up and doesn't require a high amount of investment. Well, my current setup is I'm running a cast spell channeling staff. I only use this for perhaps like maybe the last 10% of this character's playtime. Mainly I was using 2 wands with plus level to fire gems and cast speed or flat fire damage to spells. This was just mainly for testing Volatile Dead cast while channeling. You don't need the staff. This is just I guess an end game option if you want to push this build even further. Yeah, so running two scepters or 2 wands with plus level to fire gems and fire damage is more than enough to get you through the early game. For our chest, we're running a Calm's Heart, 500 maximum life, fire damage, no-brainer here. You could also potentially just run a chest piece with life and resistances if you're just a League Star character. So comms obviously gives more life, but in terms of a League start, you could just run a rare chest with life and resistances. For our helmet, same case, life and resistances. You can obviously tell this is a League start character because my helmet doesn't even have the right enchantment. Ideally, you'd want Incinerate does increased damage or increased damage per stage. Those would be really good for enchantments for Incinerate. For our rings, I'm running a ring with life, a bit of stats, and -3 to total channeling. This is actually really nice for Incinerate because you can bring Incinerate to almost no mana cost, and this allows us to reserve more mana for, let's say, Skitterbots, Heralds, and like Blood and Sand. So bringing down your channeling cost is very effective. So it essentially makes your Incinerate cost nothing. On the other ring, life, resistances, elemental damage as Opal Ring. Doesn't have to be Opal Ring as long as you get life and resistances on your ring. Amulet, I briefly mentioned it before. Fire damage leeches life. This is the role you're looking for. It is a Pohade. It is a temple mod. So it allows you to leech your fire damage as life. If you grab this, you'll need to grab Paragon of Calamity. This will allow your fire damage to give you back life. So this will be a source of your life sustain. Other than that, look for life, resistances, maybe flat spell damage or fire damage to spells. And I've allocated sacrifice since we are running a Golementalist type build. Sacrifice allows your golems to slowly regenerate life and also saves you a couple points of respec here. So it may be like 1 or 2 points to you save instead of just grabbing points to here. You can grab sacrifice with the thing. With the anointments, otherwise you grab singular focus as well, entirely up to you. I've noticed that you do need sacrifice on your minions, otherwise they will die if they don't have any source of regeneration. For gloves, I'm just running a very basic pair of rare gloves with resistances and life. You may notice that a lot of this gear is incredibly scuffed because this is just a League Star character and this gear is the same as when I started in 3.9. Nothing's really changed except for the comms and the sept and the staff. Ideally, you want to run a pair of gloves with enemies take additional damage if you've ignited them. There's also a temple mod. Those are very cheap and very effective. Other than that, just look for life and resistances on the gloves. Belt, you could go for a Stygian or a life-based belt. Just look for life resistances. You could craft it with Scorch Fossils to give you more fire damage to your build, but not that important. Just want to get life. You just want to get life and resistances prioritized. On your boots, life, resistances, movement speed, nothing really crazy to say here. Just try to get life and resistances wherever you can and get movement speed with your boots as well. For our flasks, I'm running a regular Eternal Life Flask. I'm running saturated on this because we have quite a big life pool, so you want to grab as much life recovery as possible on a flask. Other than that, I'm running a Quicksilver, a Quartz, an Ethereal's Promise for more damage, and a Granite Flask for more defense. In terms of skill gem links, I'm running Incinerate linked to Inspiration, Volatile Dead, Combustion, Conk Effect, and Controlled Destruction. This is also attached to the Castle Channeling on the staff itself. If you don't have one of these staffs, I would most likely recommend that you drop Volatile Dead and run Pure Incinerate. Pure Incinerate is more than enough damage already. I was just testing Volatile Dead and it turns out it's quite nice for helping you clear and hit mobs off screen. I think this will be very strong in Delirium considering that you're going to be fighting a lot of waves of monsters and they're going to be coming towards you, so Volatile Dead would be quite strong here. For our helmet, I'm running Skitterbots attached to Clarity, Flesh and Stone, and Summon Flame Golem. In our gloves, I'm running Immortal Coal, Cosmic Damage Taken, Herald of Ash, and Summon Stone Golem. Finally, in our boots, I'm running Summon Chaos Golem, Summon Lightning Golem, Arcane Search Support, and Flame Dash. For Pantheons, I'm running Soul of Lunaris for the Major God, and I'm running Soul of Shikari for the Minor God. Obviously, these Pantheons are player preference depending on what type of content you are doing. Make your own choices. These are the ones that I run. So for thoughts on this character, I would say it is an incredibly strong league starter. I've done this maybe 2 or 3 times across different leagues. It's never let me down. Spell-based builds generally perform much better than attack-based builds, just based on the type of damage and how they scale. If you were to look for running a decent League starter, I would definitely suggest trying to check out this Incinerate character. You can run it as pure Incinerate, and that would be perfectly fine. If you really want to amp up the clear speed and the damage, you could run in a cast while channeling Volatile Dead. That's up to you. I ran it this league. I ran previous leagues with just pure Incinerate, and it's worked out just as well. Hopefully this video can help you if you do want to make Incinerate as a League starter, and if you do like the content, be sure to subscribe and like to see more.